here's a deeper, layered explanation of what Jesus meant when he talked about little children. Not just the verses, but the theology, the cultural background, and the spiritual implications for adults. 1. The cultural shock of Jesus' words. To understand Jesus' teaching, you have to see how children were viewed in his time. In the ancient Jewish and Greco-Roman world, children had no social status, no legal power, and were often considered not yet fully persons. Adults, especially men, were the center of public life. Children were loved, but they were not seen as models of anything important. So when Jesus elevated children, he wasn't being sentimental. He was reversing the social order. He took the lowest status members of society and said, "This is what greatness looks like." This was radical. 2. Become like little children. What Jesus actually meant. Jesus wasn't saying adults should be childish. He was pointing to specific qualities children naturally have. Humility. Children don't pretend to be more than they are. They don't build reputations, defend egos, or chase status. Dependence. A child knows they can't survive alone. This mirrors the spiritual truth that humans depend on God. Trust. Children trust easily, not blindly, but sincerely. Jesus says this is the posture of real faith. Openness. Children are teachable. Adults often resist change, cling to pride, or hide behind sophistication. Jesus is saying, if you want to enter God's kingdom, drop the ego and return to the simplicity of trust. 3. The kingdom belongs to such as these. A theological statement. This is not just a metaphor. Jesus is making a doctrinal claim. Children are not spiritually inferior. They are not less important in God's eyes. They are not obstacles to adult spirituality. Instead, children already embody the posture required for salvation. This means God's kingdom is not earned by intelligence, power, or achievement. It is received the way a child receives a gift, with open hands. 4. Jesus' fierce protection of children. Jesus gives one of his strongest warnings in the entire Bible about harming or misleading children. Why so strong? Because children are vulnerable, are easily shaped. Trust adults naturally. Reflect God's heart. To harm a child is to attack what God treasures most. This shows God's justice, God's tenderness, God's seriousness about protecting the innocent. 5. Jesus blessing children. A physical, symbolic act. When Jesus laid his hands on children and blessed them, he was doing several things at once: affirming their worth, publicly correcting his disciples, demonstrating God's fatherly heart, showing that spiritual blessing is not reserved for the powerful. In a world where children were often ignored, Jesus made them the center of attention. 6. What this means for adults today. Jesus' teaching challenges adults to let go of pride, stop measuring worth by status or achievement, become spiritually teachable again, protect and nurture the vulnerable, see children as spiritual examples, not distractions. It also challenges communities, families, churches, societies to treat children with dignity, patience, and love. A question to deepen the conversation. Would you like a deep dive into a specific passage? Matthew 18, Mark 10, or Luke 18? Or would you prefer a thematic study on how Jesus viewed innocence, humility, and spiritual childhood? Kindly drop it in the comments section